Hello, biscuits. Hold on, my hair is doing wild and crazy things. I'm gonna restart the vlog. Hi, biscuits. Do you want to come house hunting to Western Michigan with me? You do? Okay. We're gonna see some of the places we wanted to see today, because we were trying to just cram a ton in, right? We're just on a few day trip here in Michigan, checking out potential new places to live. But some of the houses weren't available today, so we're gonna see a couple fun little small tiny lake cottages. These are not McMansions. They're not gonna be anything super fancy, but they're gonna be hopefully places that we can imagine calling home, putting our chickens, having the kids play. So I'm really curious. My battery is blanking, biscuits, so if this suddenly cuts out, I'm just gonna change out the battery. I am very excited to go. We're checking out of our hotel in South Haven, Michigan, which is just the cutest little tiny biscuits. It keeps blanking. Hold on. See if that works. I'm very excited to see the places. South Haven has been such a cute little town. It feels like a very small town, but in the best sort of way. My allergies are definitely still present here. Although not as bad as sinus pressure so far. This is only our second full day here. 3 days in the trip, but the first day was literally all travel. I will do a sit-down video on that. So we're going to check out all the houses. I have no idea what they're going to actually be like. It's such a thing to pick up sticks, go on a trip, and just see if maybe there's somewhere that calls to you as home more. I'm waiting for Abraham to go grab his hot cocoa from the hotel lobby. Oh, I see him coming. And then we're going to hop on the road and have so much fun. I got these little sunglasses at Walmart. I think that's going to be great fun.
You got the full gun, right? The green full gun?
I got the green squirt gun, and I got the clothes. Someone 3-year-old has been opening every single yogurt, taking one bite, and then leaving it, and I refuse to leave it, so we're just pitting it in spots and making her eat. Okay, biscuits, let's go house hunting together. Are you ready to explore Western Michigan and see what is the upper Midwest like if you're moving from the West Coast? Let's go check things out. Biscuits, you are standing on a calm magnesium bottle and a chair. But sorry, this should look. I am getting my little Pear Bear down for her nap, and she won't stay asleep without me cuddling her. So I've been working from cuddling her, and I finally popped up because I want to come on here, and chat about the houses that we're seeing, because I realized I just kind of filmed because I was getting to know this new real estate agent, talking to her, so I didn't really have a moment where I could talk on camera. She didn't know me and I didn't know her, so we were kind of chatting the whole time, and then obviously she's just staying close to me. She's like, who's this weird person I'm showing houses to? So this first house we saw, spoiler alert, was actually the favorite of all the houses that we saw for me. Not because it was the most move-in ready or totally ready to go. It was a tiny space, but because it had the yard space that I could just see us living in for a really long time. So if I'm talking quietly, it's because Peregrine is still napping. I'm trying to get her to be that way because she's tired. Obviously, you can see we're back. We're packing from our trip. We're back from our trip and we're packing to move. So the more naps she can get, the better. I loved the kitchen on this house because this was a very small house. I think it claimed to be 1,000 square feet, and I will put up the stats for it, obviously, on the screen, but I get off the top of my head. And I think they counted like the screen porch, maybe a garage and the shed or something. Because it was not. It was tiny. It wasn't actually a real bedroom. It was just part of the living room that had a bookcase by it. So it was very small. And obviously a studio apartment doesn't fit our family very well, but I could see what it could become, slowly but surely. And I really liked that. I loved how big the kitchen was. It had a really great cooktop. The bathroom for me was a total no-go. I mean, a miniature-sized bathtub. I couldn't even bathe Abraham in there, like if he bathed himself. Now he's 9, but like he couldn't even lay lengthwise in the bathtub. It was so tiny. So that was a big issue for us, is looking at this as one bathroom, and it was smaller than my closet is right now, that bathroom. So this was a very dainty studio. Would you move your family with young kids into a studio sized house, or would you be, no way, dear killer, I'd rather not live on the water, I'd rather live inland and have more space? So something I've really been asking us is, what are our absolute must needs and what can we do without? What are just us keeping up with the Joneses, or what are just us thinking that we need this but we really don't? How much unused space do we need in the house, and how much do we just need to cram full so that we can be relaxed and have fun? And my goal with this move is my kids growing up with a relaxed mom that has time to play with them, that has passion for where I live, and they see me be happy. And I don't think they've seen me be super happy the last couple of years, because I think my windows are open right. It's a warm-ish day for Western Washington. You can hear how loud my neighborhood is. It's just really loud and chaotic energetically. The serenity of this lake house was so pleasant. It was a dirt road. I really had to think, like, would we be willing to go down a dirt road in the winter? Because Michigan it's winters, right? It's not like Southern California doesn't. I mean, although Southern California actually you get the rain, so you couldn't drive on a dirt road anyway. Really loved this house, though. It was a fan favorite. Another spoiler, it sold. It had been on the market for a couple months, and it literally sold while I was driving back to the hotel from seeing houses this day. It went pending. So my real estate agent's keeping an eye on it to see if maybe something like comes back on the market, but she didn't seem to have high hopes for that, and I was so disappointed because this was my favorite of the houses. That's why I'm starting with it. It was my favorite of the houses we saw, but we aren't moving into this one because somebody else snatched it up before we could, and it just felt so perfect for our family, and I'm kind of bummed about that. So let's go take a little peek at another lake house. Now this lake house was very much move-in ready. It had people that this was their second home, sort of. They split their home between two places, so it wasn't like just like a vacation home, but it was a little bit smaller than the studio it claimed on square footage, but it was on 2 levels, so it had more small rooms. Let's go take a peek at it. so this house had enough rooms to make into bedrooms. It had a walk-in closet that I could turn into a bedroom for Abraham. It had a bedroom upstairs that was really small that had an attached bath that could be Pear's room, and then it had a bedroom downstairs with a bathroom that could be kind of my master bedroom. And it was very tight quarters. Like, it didn't have a dishwasher. It only had a mini apartment-sized fridge. It was a small. I'm gonna put up the square footage on it, kind of what its details were. It was very small, but it was such a beautiful backyard. It's the kind of backyard you dream of in a lake house. It's just that gorgeous shade tree, fire pit. We saw little turtles while we were there that were nesting. It was just a beautiful, serene place, and I really liked that it had a paved road, unlike that last one. That made me feel a little bit less out in the boonies and more like, okay, paved road, we can scooter on it. It's gonna be easier for snow maintenance. It made sense. Now the front yard in comparison to the last house, way smaller, way smaller. I really struggled at this house. In fact, I'll be honest, I went back twice to this house because I so loved the energy of it, but I couldn't figure out where to put the chickens. And we actually had a long conversation. It took 3 days, I think, to find out from the association. It's not really an HOA, but like an association. Oh, can we have chickens? Can we have fencing? Because we have small children. And what we found out is that probably we could have fencing in the front of the house, but not back by the lake, and we could have chickens. But for me, that's really hard to accept, that there's going to be no fencing around the water. And also no fencing on the backyard, so we can't have the chickens there and just play and hang out. You have to constantly be on alert with your kids to make sure they aren't jumping into the water. And the front yard that could get fenced was very small. It would be very hard to fit, because that was the sunny area of the yard, a garden, a greenhouse, and chickens and ducks. That would have been a really tight fit. So we looked all around, had this amazing Amish built shed that would have made a really pretty filming space for me to film my romance novels come alive, to film my self-care series for Patreon. I loved that about it because it was a really cute shed. It wasn't finished out, but it had the space to actually put in insulation and make it into an office space. So this was one of the best lake houses we saw in our budget that really did have rooms for everything. They were just very small rooms. And so we were really asking ourselves, our whole family, is that too small, or does size not matter? As long as we have little rooms to call our own, is that okay? Or do we really want space to spread out, right? In our budget, to find a lake or pond house, we aren't gonna get a lot of square footage, right? Because kind of what I've been seeing in Michigan is you have under $400,000, under $300,000, sometimes under $250,000 lake pond houses, but they're small. Sometimes they're 400 square feet, sometimes they're 800, sometimes they're like 1,000, but that's iffy square footage. Or you have like over $1 million, and those are big, like 4, 5, 6,000 square feet houses. I'm not seeing anything in the middle right now, at least on the market, where, you know, if you spent $450 or $500, which is a lot of money, can I just say, it's a big monthly payment, that you would get square footage, but a nice yard. I'm just not seeing it there. So those seem to be the two houses, and obviously I'm not looking for the $2 million lake house. I'm looking for a little house that works for an artist who wants to homeschool her kiddos, have family time, make fresh made bread, and just be a nice little divine feminine, stay-at-home house mama. Because that's the season I'm entering into, you know? I love my work. I'm not stopping my work. Don't worry, I've gotten some messages I like to send me, you're quitting. I'm like, no, I really do genuinely love what I do, but I'm pivoting and stretching out my spirit into what my primal divine is calling out for. I loved how they did this house. It was so, and we actually ran into the owner because we took so long to leave because my kids had found a turtle and a cat, and I apologized. I'm like, I'm so sorry that you're still here while you come back. There's a turtle and a cat down the street, and so I'm just waiting on my kids. He was very understanding, but they did such a cute job on this house. It was very nicely maintained. A lot of the lake houses, let me tell you, that I saw, or not even lake houses, just houses in general in Michigan, if you're looking under $250 for a house in Michigan, there were some poorly maintained homes. Some were so poorly maintained that I really think they're like tear down at this point. It was like, you know, how do you have these homes? How are you renting out these homes? The ones that were the worst maintained were either empty or tenant occupied, and some of them were just like, oh, what's going on here. But this house is really nicely maintained, and I could see us living here. So we're still considering this one. We didn't make an offer on it before we flew home because I really want to see more homes, and I want to find one that just really calls to me, and hopefully one that lets me have fencing down by the water. And I don't mean like high blocks or view fencing, just like low. It could be a picket fence, just something that deters chickens and small children from rampaging through the neighbors' yards and jumping into the water without permission, right? And that seemed really like this house that we were looking at. Boop, pop it right back up. Oh, look how pretty it is. Oh, it was really very idyllic. Wasn't going to allow that, but it's still on our list because it meets so many other things, and we thought maybe we could like negotiate a little bit on fencing, but it was over our budget, so that kind of hindered us in that it needed a lot. It needed a kitchen renovation to make it, if you were going to live there full time, an actual kitchen for somebody that cooks, and it needed fencing, and it needed some safety features and some bathroom updates, and it was very small. This is a space that you would really have to think about, like, even with just our 2 kids, is that too small of a space? Or am I being a greedy goblin and I just want the American McMansion? It's a silly perspective. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm being unreasonable. But these were beautiful lake houses to get to see. Shout out to Heather. Thank you, Heather, for showing us these houses. She was a trooper, going all over Michigan with us, and I always appreciate a real estate agent that will just hightail it all over and meet you where you need to go look at houses, because some people are like, oh, I don't show houses there, only this county, you know. So we're still on the lookout. I have more houses to show you from our trip. I'm kind of splitting them up into sections so you can see what we saw and see if we maybe found something that's really worth making an offer on, and we just have to kind of wrap up here and decide, because we are ready for a grand adventure, and our family is ready for peace and tranquility and the serenity of being where our hearts call out for. Okay, biscuits, I will see you in the next video. If you want to get a super up-to-date update on our whole move, I have a whole blog post over on Patreon for less than a sandwich. You can get the entire month with all of my back catalog for the intro high biscuits level. You can get all our back color quizzes and photos and some of the videos on there. So that's really fun. So if you just want to spend the amount of one little sandwich to support me on there, I so appreciate it. And I appreciate that I looked on, I think we're over 1,400 patrons this month. I need to see. So I'm still working on getting up to 2,000 patrons, because that's kind of my goal for the year. There's a squirrel on my back, little tiny dick. Interesting. But I would so appreciate seeing you over there, and comment on the blog post and tell me which of the houses, because I posted some exclusive photos over on there of our house hunt. Which of the houses do you think we should make an offer on?